Members, this is the appointed time and we have a quorum. Members, this is a special meeting, which is an extension of the two meetings held last year on the 11th of November and the 2nd of December. And we have only one agenda item, that is to consider the application for late membership of 12 members. The 12 application letters have already been forwarded to members, along with electoral papers PWSC 5/1415 and 6/1415 on the 8th and the 10th of October last. On the 8th of December last year, on the request of some members, I wrote to those 12 members again to invite them to attend the meetings to answer members' questions or to provide supplementary information in writing on the applications for our processing. And the reply I received is that originally Mr. Paul Chair has indicated that he'll be willing to attend the meeting. But last Friday, he wrote to me and told me that he won't be in Hong Kong for the meeting and is unable to attend the meeting. The letter has been forwarded to members. As for the 11 members remaining, they have expressed that they are not going to attend any meeting in relation to request for late membership or provide supplementary information. Before the last meeting was adjourned, I already invited members to vote on Mr. Paul Chair's application for late membership. However, at that time, a division was claimed and the scheduled time was up, so no voting was no voting was made, and I also undertook that at this meeting I will first invite members to vote on Mr. Paul Chair's application before processing the remaining 11 applications. I'd like to add that according to the established practice of the PWSC, if we are to accept Mr. Paul Chair's application, his membership in this subcommittee will take effect immediately. In other words, he can attend the following meetings and to take part in discussions and voting. But as I said just now, he already wrote to me and told us that he won't be attend this meeting. Well, point of order, Chairman, Mr. Gary Fan. Well, last time we agreed that he could attend the meeting personally. So if we vote for his membership, that means he will have the right to vote on the remaining applications for late membership. And if he is out of Hong Kong and thus unable to attend the meeting, he can't exercise the right. Is that the case? You're right. But why is it that immediately after this meeting he can have the right to vote? This is our established practice, as I've been told by the Secretariat. As I recall, every time when we approve application for late membership, that member will immediately have the right to attend meetings as a member. Because we still have 12 applications, so we will vote on each application one by one, and if we vote for the membership, then that member will immediately have the right to vote on the remaining 10 or 9 or 8 applications. Now, I asked members before whether we should have a joint debate or whether we should vote on each and every application one by one. And if my memory serves me right, we're going to vote on each application one by one. Well, even so, Chairman, once they successfully join the PWSC as a member, the date it takes effect, or my understanding is that the commencement date should begin after we completed the 11 applications. I just didn't realize that his membership will take effect immediately. Well, my understanding is that the membership will take effect immediately. This is the usual practice. There is no such requirement in the PTSC procedure, but this is just our established practice. Mr. Gary Fan, do you have any comment? I think we should deal with Mr. Paul Chair's application, and I agree we should vote on each and every application. Different members may have different reasons for applying for late membership. Mr. Paul Chair had responded to our request and attended the meeting personally to show cause, and I think this is reasonable. But I think even if we accept the late membership, we should wait for the voting on the 11 applications have all been completed before any membership takes effect. Well, I have already explained that the convention or the established practice of the PWSC is, as I said in my opening remarks, unless Mr. Gary Fan, you have justifications to support your argument to depart from our usual practice, that's the way I'm going to handle the applications. So, Chairman, no matter how many applications we approve, I think there is no problem if we indeed approve the applications. But I think that all the applications should take effect at the same time, or any successful applications should take effect at the same time. Well, if this is your view, I'd like to ask other members' views as well, because it's not stipulated in the ROP, and I cannot reject your suggestion at the outset. So, other members, any comment? Ms. Emily Lau. I think we should follow the usual practice, because unless there are strong reasons to do so, we should not depart from the usual practice. And we have not given any advance notice, so I think we should follow the usual practice. Any other comments? Yes? Deputy Chairman. I think not all members are familiar with the general practice or the practices of other subcommittees. So, can you explain to us that whether this practice is the same as that in other any other panel or subcommittee or committee? Invite the Secretariat to answer your question. Thank you, Chairman. In the past, once a committee approves application for membership, then the membership will take effect immediately. But we have no precedence of having so many applications for late membership in one go. We do not have any precedent of the same nature, but the established practice is that once we approve application for late membership, it means that we agree that the member could take part in any procedure that follows. And it does matter how the order of applications go. So the Secretariat is of the view that the order of applications that we've arranged is based on the time the member submitted his or her application. And if they submitted the application at the same time, it would be in the order of their names in alphabetical order. And we now have a suggestion that we should complete the vetting of all 11 applications for late membership before any approved membership takes effect. And we have no such precedence, but I don't exclude this option if this is the deliberation of the subcommittee, that it should be so. Well, I'd like to ask Anita about your explanation. We have 11 members. Say, for the 12th member, whether he or she can join the subcommittee may hinge on whether the preceding 11 applications are successful. If the 12th member was the first, then he might be able to join, but when he is the 12th, then because of 11 votes against his application, he might therefore not be able to join. Is that what you mean? Now, the intention is that we're going to deal with each application separately. So the order of members does have an impact. Therefore, you should explain the logic of your order, your arrangement. Mr. Ronnie Tong, Chairman, it is a general principle that once a member or once a electoral member becomes a member of the PWSC, there should not be any particular restriction on his right as a member. So I think that if a member is allowed to join the subcommittee, I think it would be against the rules of procedure to defer his ability to exercising his rights at a particular time. Well, Mr. Tong, I asked Anita just now why she emphasized the order, because whether a member could join the but it's irrelevant, Chairman. Each member may have his or her own views, and this is how we respect members' views. Yes, of course, whether an application is successful or not may have to do with other members' votes. I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, I'm not here to comment on it. I just want to point this out, that whether the 12th member could join the subcommittee does not depend on the views of members here, but rather members who who are before him and who are able to join the subcommittee. I don't have any particular stance. Any other comments, Mr. Gary Fan and Mr. Wu Chi-wai? Mr. Gary Fan. Well, Chairman, I want to say that what the Secretariat said could serve as our reference, because procedurally speaking, we could do that. We have a large number of requests for late membership of the PWSC this time, and it is uncommon, it is unprecedented, and therefore I think we can be more prudent in dealing with these applications. And I think there is an implied meaning of what you said just now.
Well, because the order of applicants may be a factor in whether they would finally be granted a membership. Now, Mr. Porcher was very proactive when he responded to us, because he came here in person to explain as to why he made a late application. Let us look at this now. The legislature in Hong Kong is very interesting because it's divided into two camps. And now here we see 12 late applicants. Now, if the first 6 applications were approved, then the whole voting tendency would be changed fundamentally. So some applicants may choose to make the application later so that they would be at a lower order. So that's why I say we should handle this special matter in a special manner. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, my inclination is that I agree with Mr. Ronnie Tong. In other committees, when that's a late applicant, when his application is approved, he will immediately become a member of that particular committee, and he has all the rights of that of the members of that committee. Now we are discussing about these late applications. Why are they submitting the application so late? We are discussing all this. I think we should stick to our established practice. Even though there are other considerations, I still don't think we should treat these applications in a special manner. Otherwise, we cannot adhere to the same practice. Now, if a late application is approved, then that member should be entitled to all the rights of a PWSC member. Mr. Ray Chan, I have a question. Now, for the first one on the list, if his application is rejected, then within this year he cannot make another application again. Is that so? Now, for this 12 applicants or 12 members, if they applied for lay membership in 12 weeks, then we don't have the present concern. But they more or less applied at the same time. That's like what Mr. Gary Fang said. So if a member applies this week, then we may have a new member. Then another member applies next week. Then he may enjoy some advantages because he may have a friend at the PWSC already. So that's back to my original question. How is the order made? Due to the time of application or what? Anita explained just now. According to my understanding, it's like this. Anita, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The Secretariat noted that 12 members made this application, and as to whether the applications would be approved, it depend on the order of application. So that's why the Secretariat didn't attach any feeling to the arrangement in the list. It's just placed in chronological order, first come, first serve. So after a failed application, can you make another application again? And Anita, you can correct me, but I will look at it from a common sense angle. At the moment, you make an application. At that moment, the PWSC members would make a collective decision. And then if a new member enters the PWSC, collective will, you mentioned collective will. Yes, we always talk about collective will lately. Or is it an institutional approval? Now, if there's a new member in that group, then the collective will may be changed a bit. Now, this may not be the definite answer. The Secretariat can correct me. Now, if the collective will has changed, now, of course, there's a possibility of making another application. Then, of course, you can do that. Now, when the application was submitted, you said that the way they put it in the list was not done with any feelings attached. They just do it on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, for Mr. Chen Ji-chun's question, you asked if an application is rejected, can that member submit another application afterwards? Yes, he can. However, as to whether the PWSC should reconsider it, now for a committee, if in a year it has made a decision on a certain issue, if on the same issue they need to make another decision, well, that's normally not in order. Unless there's a resolution rescinding the previous decision. And if a decision is rescinded, of course, there may be new development. That was what we did in the past. We did it through a motion. And that's the second question. Now there is this matter of order, that is the place on the application list may affect whether they would be successful in the application. So I think members can discuss this more. I think all your questions have been answered. Do other members want to ask questions? Mr. Leung Kwok-kin. I think we have had enough discussion on this, unless you have new points. Well, for the 12 apostles, they are so brave that they are coming back to make an application. I really want to say something. I think there are exceptions to everything. Now, if they are so enthusiastic, if they really want to join the PWSC so that they can approve funding, then I would like to listen to your views. Why do you have to have such a lengthy discussion? Why do you want to turn them away? However, I also do not hear reasons as to why they were so late in making applications. Let us do it in a lot. And we are talking about the order of the application. My view is very straightforward. As long as they tell us why they are making an application so late, then that's okay. We are very fair. If the 12 applicants tell us why they didn't make an application in the first place and now they want to do it, we really want to hear it. I do not want to drag on anymore. Where is Paul Chair? Well, he's out of town, so he cannot attend today's meeting. So what are we going to do? Mr. Leung? Yes, we do not want to drag our feet. We want to have the matter done. I think we should wait for Paul Chair to come back, because you cannot talk to a stone. I think Mr. Paul Chair must have some very important business, so that's why he's out of town. If he's not here and we are talking about him, it's not too fair. I think we should wait for him to come back first, and then we will handle his application. Can we have a video conference with him? Now, let me point out to you, for the 12 applications, well, 11 of them have already indicated that they would not attend this meeting. So Mr. Paul Chair's absence is not a reason for our not handling the applications. But I want to talk to Mr. Paul Chair. We really need to discuss this matter here. Why did he make an application so late? Why can't we ask him? He was here. He made his explanations. Mr. Leung, when I was at the court, court number 1, could I tell the judge that, well, here I am, so next time I won't come. Can I do that? You are a barrister. How can you let people do that? That's so arrogant. Well, at the end of the last meeting, I said that we would be holding a meeting today, and today we would be handling Mr. Paul Chair's request for late membership. Just now, Mr. Gary Fan said that should we really vote on the late application one by one, or should we approve or reject all the applications in one go? I think I've heard a lot of your views already. Now, Mr. Paul Chair is the first stakeholder. Well, shall we do it in one go or not? I think Mr. Paul Chair has to say. But now he's not here today. And when he comes back, he may say that you did something in his absence. I really try to be friendly to everyone. Well, this is your suggestion. Your suggestion is that we should not vote today. We should wait for Mr. Paul Chair to come back first. However, I would like to tell you that at the end of the last meeting, I already said that today, the first thing we would do is to handle Mr. Paul Chair's application. Did you ask him that? Have you reminded him that? Listen to me. We have written to him, reminding him that we are holding a meeting today, and he replied to us saying that he cannot attend today's meeting, so we do not have to follow up on this. Yes, we've heard your view. Let me listen to Mr. Albert Chan.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I don't agree to processing all the applications in one go, because each application has its own merits unless there is an invisible hand manipulating the situation, or unless one member is actually in command and controlling all applications. I think all applications should be dealt with separately. I have 3 principles. First, if the late application is reasonable, then we should approve it. Otherwise, we should veto it. We should not put the blame on our assistants, because a member get a remuneration that is a few times that of the assistant. So we should not let those members pass the buck on their assistants. If they rely on this as a ground for late application, we should veto them. Secondly, these members should show up at this meeting and explain themselves. Otherwise, they are just giving up on their rights. And it also means that they dare not come and answer our questions. And this is irresponsible. For government officials, we ask them to come and account to us. And at that time, I applied on behalf of Mr. Leung Kwok-kin to join the PWSC. I explained a number of times, and ultimately the application was rejected. And thirdly, I'd like the Secretariat to dig out the relevant record about members attending that meeting and rejecting my application. I think they are moving goalposts. If back then they rejected my application for joining the subcommittee, and yet they are blatant enough to apply for late membership, so do they have special privilege? It's not about my personal grudge with them. Right, but we're dealing with a very specific question. That is the point raised by Mr. Gary Fan. That is, if we vote for an application, then the member joining will be able to take part in the voting for the next application. Now, Mr. Gary Fan is not here, and we are discussing his proposal because the proposal was that we should vote on all the 12 applications first, and then their membership should take effect at the next meeting, instead of allowing the membership to take effect immediately after voting. I want to know, after we discuss it, whether he still insists that I deal with this issue. Anyway, he's not here, and Mr. Leung Kwok-king's position, from what I gather, it's not very clear. And from other members who have just spoken, it seems that I do not need to further consider Mr. Gary Fan's suggestion. Well, I think once we approve a member to join, the member should be able to exercise his right immediately. Well, some members are irresponsible, but Mr. Gary Fan's suggestion is the same. He said that we should vote on each and every application. Well, last time I applied for membership on behalf of Mr. Leung Kwok-kong to the ESC, and the membership should take effect immediately, and we should be consistent. Unlike some others who'd like to move goalposts all the time, or who shifts his position all the time, I don't think this is irresponsible. Let me ask the Secretariat, can you ring Mr. Gary Fan? Is going to come back? If not, well, I shouldn't need to deal with his proposal. So how about standing down the meeting for 5 minutes for the Secretariat to ring Mr. Gary Fan? Oh, he's going to the District Council. Mr. Sin-chung, are you sure? Alright. If so, no need to contact him. Let me make a decision. Mr. Gary Fan made the specific suggestion, and having heard comments from members, I don't see a high chance of Mr. Gary Fan's proposal being adopted. So let's proceed with voting. Let's vote on Mr. Paul Chair's application for membership first. So I will proceed with voting on Mr. Paul Chair's application for late membership. Will those in favor please raise your hands? You want to claim a division? All right. 5 minutes. Mr. Albert Chan, let me assist you. Let me say it once again. We're going to vote on the following. Mr. Paul Chair's application for late membership of the subcommittee.
While
the division bell is ringing, the Secretariat has invited me to read out the list of members. For members number 1 to 10, for the first 11 members, they submitted the applications on the same date. So what the Secretariat said just now was not entirely correct. So since they submitted the application on the same date, the order of members is actually based on their seniority. Because as you know, we have a seniority list. And what do you call it? A seniority list. And this is how the order is based on. They just want to clarify this point. It is an objective criterion. Next, on Hon TANG Ka-piu, Hon Kwok-kin, and Hon KWOK Wai-keung, and the three of them wrote in jointly, and the date was therefore adopted and applied for all three members. So just to make this point clear. So when you vote, please bear in mind what the Secretariat has asked me to clarify. Let me say it once again, because a number of members just came in. We're going to vote on the following. We're going to vote on Mr. Paul Chair's application for late membership of the PWSC. Assembly Lau. Well, I came in suddenly because we are having the Electoral Commission meeting on the first floor. So please ring the bell. And I also asked whether we could hear the ring of the bell, and that's why I came in. Yes, two meetings are held at the same time. Voting begins. Before I announce the voting results, would members please check your votes? Voting is closed. The result is displayed. 24, none against. So, Mr. Paul Chair's late application is approved. Members, we're going to deal with the remaining 11. Sorry, speaker is not coming through. So, will its membership take effect immediately? Yes, because we decided not to deal with Mr. Gary Fan's suggestion. Next, we're going to deal with the remaining 11 members' applications, and they are Mr. Andrew Leung, Wong Ting-kwong, Starry LEE, Mr. Wong Kwok-kin, Mr. TANG Ka-piu, KWOK Wai-keung, Mr. NG Leung-sing, Mr. Steven HO, Mr. YIU Si-wing, Mr. Christopher CHEUNG, and Mr. Jeffrey LAM. The Secretariat says I should deal with this. On these 11 applications, do members think we should have a joint debate and separate voting, or should we have separate discussion for each application with voting following? Now, I think we have unanimous result just now, and this is a good illustration for the remaining 11 members that we're not going to veto the applications simply because they are late. We should invite them to come next time to explain, and that's the case for Mr. Paul Chair. He attended once because he might think that we oppose for the sake of opposing, as the pro-establishment members always suggest. But Mr. Paul Chair's case is a precedent, and I think we should give them some confidence and invite them to come next time. Mr. Lee Chuk-yen. Chairman, of course we should look at each application on its own, but I think Mr. Albert Chan's suggestion is also sound. It's up to Chairman to decide. But I think the order of members does matter. I wonder whether they should be in the order based on the seniority or what. For Mr. Paul Chair, is it because he attended our meeting that we moved him to the first position? Otherwise, I think the Secretariat should consider the date that member submitted his application as well. We have no precedence or no convention. I don't know whether we should check if we have any precedent and whether we should check the date they submitted the application.
Mr. Lee Chuk-yen. Today we approved Mr. Paul Chair's late application unanimously. Should we inform the other members so that another chance can be given to them? This is not a decision to be made by the chairman. Previously, we have already notified them, and that's more than twice. 6 times? The clerk told me that we've informed them 6 times. They've chosen not to come. Although if the members here think that, well, now Mr. Paul Chair has our unanimous support. If we tell them, would that affect the decision as to whether they will attend our meeting? Well, I will listen to your collective will. And I would like to ask Anita to do this. It seems now Mr. Lee Chuk-yen has some reservation. He does not want to adhere to the present order. That is, now you arrange the order in the list according to seniority. And Mr. Lee Chuk-yen queries that. Now, he asked if you can follow the application time. For example, if they fax in the application, you can look at the hour on the application sheet. Well, because they did it in a very short time and it was kind of in a batch, it's within the same day. All the applications were submitted on the same day. Maybe Sharon can take a look at the exact time that they submitted the application. Let me flip through it. Most of them faxed in the application, and there is an answer back at the top. So there's indeed time there, 3:41, 2:22, etc., except Ms. Starry Lee. So this is just a piece of information. Mr. Lee Cheuk-yin, you put this forward. What can you share with us your thoughts? I think the order of application would have an impact on our future discussion. So I think we should really look at the exact time of their submission. That's better than using seniority. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, just now I was listening to the clerk. Well, when they put the members in order, they looked at the time, they made the application. However, some of the applications were made almost together. So originally I thought that you couldn't identify the exact time they submitted the application. But now if we can find the time, then I think we should stick to this. That is the time of their submission of application. I think that's more orderly. Mr. Leung Kwok-kin, Chairman, I think we should give them another opportunity so that they can come and explain to us. Originally, they thought that it's meaningless to explain to us, but now Mr. Paul Chair has explained to us, and now we have approved his application. So this is a very good example. This can serve as an incentive for them to come here. There's no need for further discussion. Mr. Andrew Leung is not here. I think we should adjourn the meeting now and ask them to come back. Where is he now? Can we call him? I don't think we can do it this way. Now, there are two issues we have to handle. First, Mr. Leung Kwok-kin suggests that we should adjourn the meeting, or this special meeting, and we should let the late applicants know that we have approved Mr. Paul Chair's application unanimously. And see if the late applicants would think otherwise. And now Mr. Lee Cheuk-yin said that we should actually look at the exact time of the application, and then we should put the names of the applicants in a better order. Other than Ms. Starry Lee's application letter, all the other application letters were faxed, and there was a fax time on it. So now we have to handle these two issues. Do you want to vote or what? First of all, about the order. I think these two issues are related. Now, if we decide that we should adhere to the fax time, then we should rearrange the order, and we should inform the applicants that now this is the new order. And if we have to rearrange the order and we have to inform them, then maybe we should also tell them that it's because Mr. Paul Chair came here, that's why he got a unanimous approval from us. So would they change their mind? and come to attend our meeting. So these two may be related. Mr. Albert Ho, well, you have pointed out the two factors, in particular the first factor. If you rearrange the order, that would indeed affect the result. So if you have the time of the application, I think that is more orderly. If you just use seniority for arranging the order, I don't think is that reasonable. Now, maybe we do not have enough time to do everything today, and we don't have time to vote. So maybe we should inform them, and the next time we should vote again. Yes, we can do that, because we've decided that we should process the application one by one. Well, as for the rearranging of order, I don't know how long it will take. And do we need to inform the applicants? Yes, I think we do. Mr. Chang Han-ban. Well, for these applicants, they know what their orders are on the list. And even online, you can see this list. And these applicants didn't raise any objection to the order. They have also sent us a letter telling us why they made a late application, and they've explained why they didn't want to attend this special meeting. So I think everything has been explained. We do not need to inform them again, convene another meeting, etc. Well, we've spent a lot of time looking at this late applications. Do we still want to drag on? I think things are very clear. We shouldn't spend any more time on it and waste taxpayers' money. Just now, Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen suggests that the order should be rearranged, and I do not know the order or the new order, so you cannot see the new order online. Mr. Paul Chair has received our unanimous approval, and it only happened today. As for the other 11 applicants, would they change their mind because of this? I do not know. But of course, if you think this is a tiny issue and it won't impact on the results, then of course that's your opinion. Chairman, yes, Mr. Chairman, just now I made myself very clear. For the existing order, these applicants can see it online and they do not object to it. They know their positions. And according to past practice, after the application is approved, they will become a member and they are entitled to all our rights. They haven't raised any objections, so why do we want to do this? Mr. Chen thinks that we do not need to do this because the applicants themselves do not have objection to this. And Mr. Chen says that it has been the past practice. That is, after a member is admitted, he can vote immediately, and he can make his personal decision. They can already see the order. They know what the impact will be, and now they are not objecting to anything. So why do we have to do this for them? Now, several members have indicated that they would like to speak. Mr. Chen Chi-chun, James To, Leung Kwok, Hong Albert Chan. Mr. Chen Chi-chun. Thank you, Chairman. Before today, I think our members haven't really thought about the logic and principle behind this order. And this order would affect the voting result. We discussed just now and we agree on this. As for the principle of arranging this order, I think we should do it again because that would be more reasonable. Now, if we look at seniority and the time of application submission, I think it's more reasonable to look at the time. Maybe later on we can vote on this and see if most members agree to this. I don't think any member can make a decision on behalf of other members. Some members say that if we decide that the order be rearranged, then we should give time to, then we should inform the late applicants so that they can have time to reconsider. They are not here, so we should give them a chance. Just now, Mr. Paul TSE late application was approved unanimously. So for the other 11 members, previously we looked at their reasons and we thought those reasons were unreasonable. Some of them checked the responsibilities under their assistance. We didn't accept them. Now, if we more or less adopt the same principles and we are reasonable, then if they come to explain to us again, it's very likely that we would approve their applications. Now, if they are willing to tell the truth, then maybe we would approve the application. For Mr. Paul TSE's explanation, it was sincere, so we approve his application, even though it's his assistant's fault. Indeed, he should shoulder the responsibility. And if he tells us, frankly, the reason why he's requesting for late membership, maybe we would approve his application. Now we do not have enough information, so we may veto the application, or we may adjourn, or we may abstain. So I think the order should be rearranged, and we should give them another opportunity. And now, because that's this president of Mr. Paul TSE, I think we should let them know, and maybe they will change their mind, and then the issues can be resolved fast. Now, just now, Mr. Chang Han made 2 points. Now, if we inform the applicants today's voting result on Mr. Paul TSE, and if we rearrange the order, and well, also some other members say that we are doing this in vain for the applicants. I think that is quite a strange argument, because that means we are doing something bad. But now we are trying to inform the late applicants the latest progress. Now the approval of Mr. Paul TSE's application may be may take some members by surprise.
So different members may, based on their own circumstances, decide whether to attend or not. Or, if they do attend, to proffer more reasons to persuade the subcommittee. So it's not we're not doing something futile by telling them that the order will be rearranged. Now today, it only occurred to me the importance of the order of members after hearing the discussion and analysis, and the voting result could be affected, because with more members joining, the voting result for the remaining applications may not be the same. So for those members applying, they might believe that if the first few members' applications are approved, then the members that follow would also be approved. So even if I were a member from the pro-establishment camp or one of the members submitting an application, I would logically think that apart from Mr. Paul Chair, other members might also come, and if other members come, and if their applications are successful, they may support my application, and this is very important. So I think we should discuss this in greater detail. I think it is more objective to rearrange the order by the time the applications were submitted. I don't want to make the job of the Secretariat difficult. If they submitted the applications at the same time, then we would have no alternative but to rely on the order of precedence or the order of seniority. However, if we have a timestamp for each application, then I think it's reasonable. That's how we do things usually, except, for example, the HOS application, because they have limited quota. Not in our case, though. So we have different approaches that we should not be, say, drawing lots. And finally, I have a new point to make, that is about appeals. If we do not deal with the applications cautiously, there could be members who think that we are not acting reasonably, and they may challenge our decision by appealing. I think what Mr. Ban Chan said was really ridiculous. Well, when did we beg you not to join the Public Works Subcommittee? It's a waste of taxpayers' money. Even your assistant's remuneration comes from the taxpayers' money, and it's a disrespect on the labor sector and an employee by passing the buck on your assistant. Is the fault of the boss. Do you understand? So you're embarrassing yourself. I pray every day that they would forget to join this subcommittee, but I couldn't do that. And he even went as far as to say that we're wasting public money and wasting time. So you see here, we have one senior DAB member leading 3 new members. Other members are having breakfast. So they attach importance to seniority. Well, Mr. Leung Chi-chang has left when we only have Mr. Tam Yu-chung here leading the younger members. So that's the case for the pro-establishment camp members. And that's why Mr. Chan made that statement. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, and you had to come and defend your fellow members. Well, I don't want to attend such meetings either. Mr. Ban Chan, you don't get this message. It's very likely that you could join, depending on your explanation. Like Mr. Paul Chair, he came and explained, and we unanimously voted for his membership. So let's not waste public money and time. Just come. Mr. Leung, can you focus on the 2 issues at hand? That is whether we should rearrange the order based on the time the application was received by fax, and secondly, whether it's necessary to inform the remaining 11 members that we have unanimously voted for Mr. Paul Chair's application. Yes, I think they should be notified. They may not be in the know, so they should be notified because their interests are at stake. So we should notify them, in your opinion, and then we should adjourn the meeting today. Right, let's be quick. Adjourn the meeting today. Inform them first. Otherwise, what's the point of having the meeting? They might appeal. Mr. Albert Chan. Chairman, you made 2 points. First, on reordering or rearranging the order, using not seniority but the time the applications were submitted by fax. However, we should make things clear. I think Mr. Ban Chan has twisted the meaning of this subcommittee, and it's really ridiculous to say that it's a waste of public money. Whether we have this meeting or not, you're using public money. Putting the blame on your assistant, that's the total waste of public money. Trying to vindicate oneself with lies, this is totally unacceptable. I think members attending this meeting here can in no way represent the 11 members. This subcommittee is only asking that these 11 members be informed, and yet one of the members here said that we do not need to tell those 11 members. Are you their legal representative? Have they authorized you to say this? You may say that this is the decision of the party, and the party's decision would override any personal decision. But not all members are from your party. So don't try to pretend to be a representative. Due process and truth. These qualities are priceless. We should vindicate our assistants, because some members have put the blame on their assistants, and if they do not attend the meeting, the only conclusion is that it is impossible for so many assistants from different offices to have committed the same mistake. It is absolutely unfair to those assistants from the pro-establishment camp. Unlike the leftists, we were so outrageous because some leftist radicals threw a bomb and killed the radio host Lam Ban, and they denied it because we were accused of doing something evil, and I need to expose the one who is really evil and who is trying to pretend to be a representative for these members. Mr. Wu Chi-wai. Well, Mr. Ban Chan said that we are actually doing evil in the name of due process is unacceptable. Mr. Paul Chair's application has been approved with a unanimous vote, and it is suggested that the order should be rearranged. Some may think that there is insignificant impact, but according to Chairman's analysis, what follows may very much depend on the order of members. So I agree that we should follow the chronological order, because this is the objective criterion. So to respond to the first issue, Chairman, I agree that the order be rearranged according to the time the applications were submitted by fax. For Ms. Starry Lee's application, since there was no timestamp, we could not verify the time it was submitted, and therefore the principle is that we should put her application at the back of the list. Second issue. Now, we have new developments in this subcommittee, and we considered Mr. Paul Chair's reasons for late membership. And although we could not say that this is precedence, but it shows that after hearing a member's explanation for application for late membership, a new light is shed, and then we would seriously consider allowing the member to join the subcommittee. So first issue, I agree that it should be in chronological order. Second issue, I agree that members should be informed of the new development. All right. First of all, I should point out to members that I thank members' support and cooperation. In January, we have had 6 hours of additional time for meeting, and 5 hours in February as well. This is satisfactory. I think I can say that we won't be wasting time and not fulfilling our duty in deliberating on agenda items at regular meetings because we need extra time for special meetings. Now, having heard members' views, I have this impression: as Mr. Paul Chair's application has been approved by unanimous vote, after he came and explained himself at the previous meeting, and since we have timestamp for application submitted, there is a general consensus that this meeting should be adjourned today, and at the next meeting scheduled for the 3rd of February, 10:45 a.m., since more members have indicated that they are available for that meeting, and we have scheduled the meeting at that date, and on the 2 points raised just now, the 11 members will be invited to attend that meeting to explain themselves. First of all, based on Mr. Paul Chair's example, whether they would come similarly to explain themselves, and also the order will be rearranged according to the time of application.
Mr. Ban Chen, Chairman, just now many members talked about procedure justice. However, I think they are filibustering. This is something very simple. Do we need 3 to 4 special meetings to handle this? I think they are complicated, a very simple issue. I want to have my regret recorded. Okay, that would be put down on record, but I don't really understand your regret. Now, as for the letter by Ms. Starry Lee, well, on her fax, there's no time record. So she would be put at the last on the list of members who made their application on the 8th of October.